This is me at age 13. All I wanted was to one day have total financial freedom, retiring early, doing what I love, never stressing about money. This is me now, 19 years later. I'm filming this video in a home that I love and own. This video is my story of how I went from a standard middle-class Taiwanese kid working overtime wages to owning plenty of properties in the heart of Canada and making 5-figure return every month. Best of all, I will pass on to you all the most important lessons I picked up along the way. If you're anything like me, your parents probably told you to work hard at school so you could get into a good university, get a useful degree, land a sweet job, and make loads of money. That was the path everyone took growing up, and it seemed to be the only way of really making it. Of course, life turns out to be a little more complicated than I initially thought, but we will get into that later. I grew up in Taiwan, and my parents taught me a really solid work ethics. By the time I was 18, I was already looking to push myself further and be great at everything I did. The time came for me to pick up a university degree. I was pretty good at maths, so I decided to pursue a course in mechanical engineering. I was accepted at the University of Toronto, so I took a flight from Taiwan to Canada to start my adult life. This was a pretty huge jump for me. I was 18 years old, moving to an entirely new country all the way across the Pacific Ocean. And at the time, I didn't have the faintest idea of how to build wealth or create value. All I knew how to do was study, and I did just that. And I love it. My degree was super interesting, and university taught me how to learn how to think critically. But the reality is that while I studied mechanical engineering, I wasn't learning how the world really worked. What makes some people succeed while others fail? So I thought, money makes the world goes round, right? I should learn from the people who know all about money then. That's why I got into finance, and that's how I found my true calling. I started looking into the stock market, options, real estate, really anything and everything. Obviously, I was still studying full-time, so I barely had any free time to read up on anything. So I started working long nights, listening to podcasts in the car. Anything involving Warren Buffett was instantly added to my playlist. I even started taking night classes at the cost of my sleep schedule just to cram in as much information as I possibly could in the shortest amount of time. I wanted to learn everything, so I made time when there wasn't any. Fast forward a few years, and I have landed a job at Honda. It was a great position, and I loved the work, but it's not exactly the dream I thought it would be. The problem was I was making money, but then half of it was seemingly vanishing into the thin air. The tax rate in Canada is insane, so I was losing tons of hard work for nothing. But the real moment of realization came when I had to work a whole week of brutal graveyard shift from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. I was so exhausted, I literally had to tell my engineering colleague to pinch me if I fell asleep on the job. The stress and the overexertion really got to me. Work was driving me insane. That's when I knew something had to change. I was no closer to total financial freedom. University has served me well, but there was no way I can build substantial wealth with nothing but my salary, especially if I was losing nearly half of it to taxes. I needed a far more efficient alternative. Yet, no matter where I looked, I couldn't seem to find one. At this point, I was growing more and more frustrated. I feel like my money was going down the drain, and that dream of total financial freedom my 13-year-old self used to imagine seems to be further and further out of reach. I was at my wit's end, so I reached out for help. I got back into finance. That's when I met someone who would change my life forever. When I finish up at work, I will meet with a friend of mine who was an expert in day trading. She became my mentor, teaching me all about different ways of investing and building wealth. I quickly realized that I still had so much to learn about finance, so I kept my nose to the grindstone, listened to my new coach's advice, and read up as much as possible. Balancing a demanding job with my passion was no easy feat. My partner seriously thought I was a Superman. Here's a quick rundown of what my daily life looked like. I start work at 7 a.m., finish at 6 p.m., work out at the gym, head home, trade for an hour and a half in the Asian market, then drive a whole hour to a real estate seminar to take notes, then drive home again. It was hell, and the commitment put strains on my personal life. One evening, I had to cancel the fancy dinner date I had planned with my girlfriend just to fit in enough time for trading. Do you know what's the worst part? I wasn't even making money. I started out with $10,000 in an account, and by the end of my first 4 months, I was down to just over $6,000. I turned around to my coach and said, "So I'm paying you for lessons, but I'm not even making money?" And she told me, "Yes, because you haven't learned the right mindset to succeed yet." That was the closest I ever came to calling it quits. I kept seeing my bank account taking hit after hit. My losses overweighed my gains, but I stay humble. Nothing in life worth having comes easy. I didn't want to rush into anything or assume I knew better than people who have been doing this for many, many years. I kept working away and gathering more data through daily research. After a while, I realized I much prefer low-risk trading and real estate investing than day trading. Day trading is a lot like gambling. You're betting that whatever stocks or option you buy will appreciate in value by the end of the day. If they don't, you're out of luck. I enjoy spending time at my computer making trades, but I also found it really stressful. What if I lost it all? I want a steady, reliable income stream that didn't keep me up at night sick with worry. Slowly but surely, I start building my portfolio. I learn more tricks of the trades and where to invest, how to make the most out of options. One of the most valuable tools I picked up was the BRRRR method. If you don't already know, it stands for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and then repeat. One time, I bought a house for $460,000, invest $50,000 in renovations, then sold it 4 years down the line for just under $1 million. In just 4 years, I make a $490,000 profit. Not bad, right? It's also important to sometimes sit down and be grateful. During this whole time, while I was dipping into finance, moving away from engineering, my family and friends were super supportive, considering how I was diverting from the old-fashioned path to success. I was really grateful that the people around me had my back during my transition. Comes 2019, about 5 years after I started my job at Honda, I realized my investments were so profitable that I had enough savings to quit. I finally saw a solid 6-digit figure in my bank account, making over $100K in annual returns from my investment. This gives me the confidence to finally quit my job and pursue my real passion instead. Not only that, I now have so much more time to spend with my partner and family. I haven't had to cancel a day since. So thanks to my coach's advice and some hard work, I built the life of my dreams. Total financial freedom, independence, and plenty of free time. A lot of people might look at my channel and see my success and stress-free lifestyle and think, what else could you want? But I still felt like something was missing. I didn't want to rest on my laurels just yet. I achieved success, but I looked around and saw so many people caught in the rat race, stuck in dead-end 9-to-5 jobs, living paycheck to paycheck. It was the exact situation I was so afraid of getting into when I was a kid. That's when I realized I wanted to help others do what I've done to help them achieve total financial freedom. That's why I founded Say Yeah to Fire, a private community of ambitious young professionals looking to achieve total financial freedom so that I could help people like you live the life of your dreams. It took me 6 years of brutal trial and error to learn the lessons I did in finance. I didn't want other people to go through that struggle. I wanted to teach people those same lessons in just 6 months. There are so many smart, hardworking earners out there caught up in the rat race with no way out. They deserve better. So I start off by setting up weekly tutorials where I guided people into making their first investments. But I soon found out that teaching people was a whole different ballpark to what I was used to. I felt completely out of my depth and didn't know what lessons I wanted people to come away with. So I sat down and asked myself, what were the values that guided me to success? Then I figured I would build my brand around those values and instill them into my clients. When I look back, I realized that one of the reasons why I've managed to make this work is my beginner's mindset. I never let myself think I was the best, and I always remember that there's something to learn from everyone. The best teachers and coaches that I work with also never assume they know everything, and they see themselves as a project to be constantly improved on. So the first value I teach my clients is humility. I also didn't want to set up some soulless course for my clients where they just take down notes from a PowerPoint. I want to say it to fire to be a way for me to interact with clients directly, to hear their ideas and point out where they might be making mistakes. My day trading mentor let me bounce ideas off her and guide me to think about my investment. I still remember her lessons to this very day, even if I'm mostly done with day trading. So that brought me to the second value, the importance of community. I wanted to convey the importance of reaching out to people within your circle for support. We all know that it takes money to make money. And one problem many first-time investors encounter is that they don't have any capital to actually invest from the get-go. I found it super helpful to reach out to my friends and family when I first started. If you can show you know what you're doing, the people who care about you will back you up on your journey. I decided to incorporate this into my business. I wanted to set up a community where people could come together, share their experiences, and even collaborate on projects. After I've done that, I realized I could reach out to a much wider audience if I really wanted to. That's also why I got the idea to start this YouTube channel, to help more people get on the right track towards total financial freedom and potentially retire early. Rewind back to when I first landed in Canada. I was a naive 18-year-old kid in a foreign country who didn't understand the first thing about making money. All I wanted was the chance to live a fully independent life free from financial stress. And I figured university was the best way of doing that. Jump ahead to now, and nothing has gone the way I thought it would. I've become a multi-millionaire investor, helping thousands of people pull themselves out of the rat race. Best of all, I'm not at all unique. I'm not Superman. You can do exactly what I did and see the same level of success. All you need is a good work ethics, patience, and most of all, the willingness to try, fail, and try again. So that was how I went from rags to riches. It wasn't money or timing that made the difference for me. It was mindset. That was my story. What would yours be?